Well, welcome everyone, welcome. We've got an exciting day planned for you. As you might suspect, all of the different activities being set up. As you can see, there's a welcome back to school theme that we've got going on today. Well, welcome back everyone, welcome back. Look at all these smiling faces. Aww. Well, thanks for being here. I want to take a moment to acknowledge the competitive tier team. It was their inaugural year last year, and they finished second in the nation. So to our competitive cheer team and Coach Tiffany back there, thank you so much. Thank you so much for welcoming everyone back. Just a show of hands, for how many of you is this your very first convocation? All right. Well, welcome. Yeah, you deserve a hand. I suspect you felt in the time you've been here that JJC is a pretty cool place. And we're going to continue to prove that to you over your time here. Now, since it's your first convocation to some of the newbies, let me catch you up on some things, some ground rules that employees have here at JJC. First of all, there is no pineapple on pizza. And if you choose to have pineapple on pizza, you must not call it a Hawaiian pizza because Hawaiians don't put pineapple on their pizzas. Now, thank you. He says thank you. Second thing is the trespass order for Jason Momoa is still in place here at JJC. Oh, thank you. Oh, there were some boos. For those of you new to the institution, emotionally, I'm not prepared to explain why Jason Momoa is not allowed on campus, but my wife is here today, and she can share all of those details. Great segue. I want to take a moment to acknowledge my family for being here today. Tiana and 4 out of the 5 of our kids are joining us here. Will you all stand to be recognized, please? Now, I've asked each one of them to perform either a song or an interpretive dance for you today. So, Kainoa, you're first. Yeah. On my time here, my messages have been clear. They've been consistent that as members of the JJC community, we honor all aspects of who you are. You are indeed people before your employees. And I hope that we continue to prove that to you. Your mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, all aspects of your identity, your culture, your language, your religion, who you are as people, we intend to honor you as full and complete human beings. And that is what makes JJC a very special place. The more we appreciate and honor the rich diversity of our employees, the stronger we are as an institution. And of course, my hope, my expectation is that you give that great gift to our students, that our students feel that. Many of them wear their identities. They walk these halls proudly displaying those identities. And JJC should continue to be a place where they feel celebrated and never simply tolerated. That is what we are all about. I want to take a moment to acknowledge the executive leaders of JJC, those who work closely with me, who have, over these past 2 years, embraced the challenges I've presented to maximize. I'm laughing because I've got a joke coming up, so I'm sorry, I pre-laughed on that one. I've presented to maximize our impact on the communities we serve, and while they have occasionally rolled their eyes and glanced at each other in disbelief at some of the things I've asked them to do, the JJC community has benefited from their extraordinary efforts and their outstanding leadership. Will the cabinet please rise to be recognized? Interpretive dance? Okay. Dr. Farmer, I'm sorry, will you remain standing, please? So Dr. Farmer was recently selected to participate in an intensive applied executive leadership program. In fact, the nation's premier executive leadership program in higher education. Will you all join me in congratulating the newest member of the Aspen Rising President's Fellow Program, Dr. Yolanda Farmer. So there'll be a follow-up communication with all the many things we're discussing today. Today's going to be a lot of fun. And as a reminder from a year ago, and I've heard some of these conversations in the hallways, boy, did we have a lot of fun last year. 400 of us participated, and some of you are remembering it right now with head nods or head shakes, in the Marshmallow Challenge, a design thinking exercise meant to inspire creative thinking. You empathized, you ideated, you designed, you prototyped, and you tested. And you worked together to build a structure out of spaghetti and marshmallow. Now, over this past year, I've dropped several hints to what I'll be leading up to at the end of my presentation today. Today, I'm going to encourage you to think deeply about the systems and the structures of higher education and what we do. And at the end of my presentation, I'm going to give you an opportunity to do something about it. I want to take a moment to acknowledge the trustees who have joined us today. Trustees, will you stand to be recognized, please? Trustee Harris and Trustee Queenie, how about a hand for our student trustee and our elected trustee? Thank you for your service to the JJC community. Today's really a time to reminisce, to have fun, to be creative. The solutions of tomorrow will require that. It'll require a certain degree of brilliance and creativity that only fun can provide. So I'm going to get you moving today. I want to thank especially, I have a lot of thanks to give throughout the day today, but I want to thank the marketing communications team. So marketing communications, will you please stand to be recognized or wave back there? So how about a hand for the marketing communications team? Apparently, they have a running list of all the things I've asked them to do over the past 2 years, and today is just one of those things. Thank you for making all my wild and crazy ideas a reality. So, what you'll notice is, not under your chair, but in front of, or behind your chair. Are they choosing from behind? Okay, so reach back behind your chair. Feel like Oprah right now, and no, you're not winning a new car. There is a Post-it with different colors and different numbers. So once you've acquired the Post-it and the note card, will you just hold it up just to kind of, okay, there we go. So different colors, different numbers. The different numbers and the different colors coincide with different activities, okay? So we're going to try to keep this as orderly as possible. When the Board of Trustees interviewed me 2.5 years ago, one of the promises I made to that board at that time was that anything we do will be long-term. We will invest long term. We can experience short bursts of enrollment for any particular reason, creating short-term gains that are celebrated but quickly evaporate. Since I've been here, we've invested in the future of JJC. And you've seen some of those initiatives. Today, we're bringing you all in on one of them. More on Future Wolves later. Over the summer, the Future Wolves participants, kindergarten through 5th grade, got to experience JJC. To feel what it feels like to walk the concourse, to walk our halls, to experiment in our laboratories, to learn in our classrooms, to be outdoors, to be in our planetarium. All of those things. I want to give that to all of you. Let's reminisce. Let's remember what it was like to be in 2nd grade in Mrs. Phillips' class, to think about being a college professor one day. And when we come back, I've got a challenge for you. And I hope you embrace that challenge. So your task is to take those note cards and find your way in an orderly fashion to one of several stations out front. And the team's looking at me because I'm supposed to read some instructions as well. The bell will ring every 15 minutes and you'll rotate from station to station. I want to send a special thanks to Maria Rafek, Deb Dawn, Shane Rotkis, JJC Police Department, Max and Ash I saw walking around somewhere, and Caitlin Lee for giving you all the experience, the opportunity to reminisce and be kids again, just for a little while. And as you rotate through each station, embrace that. And I believe there will be a bell that sounds. 3, 2, 1. Bing! Okay, thank you. My children helped. My kids helped. All right, welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Go ahead and find your seats. We've got a few more things. That's good. So as we're making our way back, I just want to offer a few more thanks. And why don't we do this? Why don't we start with everyone attached to the city center and its repairs. Everyone attached to the city center and its repairs. Will you please raise your hand if you're housed at the city center or if you've been responsible for its repairs? So I just want to take a moment, right? On July 14th, the City Center campus experienced what meteorologists have labeled a microburst, causing some significant damage to our campus, delaying the opening of our building. And so for those housed in the City Center, whether it be culinary, workforce, adult ed, the EBC, and on and on and on, thank you for your flexibility. I know these situations are far from ideal. Many of you have found your way to other campuses. So for those who are hosting our displaced employees at the City Center, thank you. Some of you at Romeoville, some of you here on the main campus. We're doing everything we can to get that building fully operational. Absolutely appreciate all facilities, maintenance. I just want to give Karen Kissel, Pat Van Dyne, and their teams just some recognition and a huge shout out. So how about a hand for those working really hard to repair the City Center. I was up on the roof the afternoon it happened and thought I was there, just me, Pat, and a couple others, and there were 10 facilities people that emerged who were there on a Sunday helping to repair the damage, to patch holes, to get rid of all the water. So thank you. Thank you very much. So we talked a little bit about 12 by 12 by 12. That's propelled us to the forefront of both state and national conversations around the value of dual credit. And those students, as I mentioned, are exponentially more likely to go to college. Nearly a third of graduating seniors in our region do not come to college. Now just let that sit with you for a little bit. A third. And so we're doing something about it. I want to take a moment just to acknowledge everyone from our dual credit office, to our academic executive leaders, to our deans, our department chairs, our faculty, especially those serving as dual credit liaisons. I recognize the initiative is not simple. Presidential magic wand is not going to make it happen. But for those of you who've been engaged in the initiative, the negotiations, some difficult conversations that have indeed propelled us to be a statewide leader in Illinois in dual credit, thank you for embracing my vision for what 12 by 12 by 12 could be and really has become. And that initiative emerged from the Design Thinking Lab. And what you all experienced today was yet another initiative that we're here to celebrate, Future Wolves. I want to acknowledge the contributions and really the partnership of the JJC Foundation. Christy and the foundation have stood alongside me to support all of those big ideas. And one of them, some of you got to experience today, our mobile planetarium. What Caitlin, yeah, that was probably Caitlin back there. I'm reluctant to make this promise that all of you will get to experience it, but I hope you do. I really hope you do, because it's an incredible thing. As many of you know, hundreds, if not thousands of students make their way to JJC every single year. They walk the concourse, they sing loudly and scream loudly in the concourse, they take a tour of the one-room schoolhouse, they watch some of our coolest planetarium shows, but the planetarium's booked. So when we had the wild and crazy idea of a mobile planetarium, the foundation stood right alongside. Half of the resources to acquire that planetarium came from the foundation and half came from the president's office. And I heard some rumblings that there may be more on the way. We will do our very best. Our vision, our goal, what we hope to accomplish is to export that planetarium experience that many of our kids in the area have come to appreciate about JJC. We plan to export that across our district. So this next year, the traveling trackman, I think, Caitlin, that's what you call it, the traveling trackman, will make its way to two districts, neighboring districts, Troy, Consolidated School District 30C, and Joliet School District, District 86. The entire year, it'll make its way across our district, giving students K through 5 just some sense of what it's like to be a JJC student. And the theme today, of course, coming back to school, and I hope some of you get a chance to sign the Welcome Back banner all the way in the corner there, is inspired by the Future Wolves initiative. Future Wolves initiative represents yet another future-focused investment in the youth across our district. So I want to share a little bit more with you today. The point of Future Wolves is really to grow Kids College. Many of you are familiar with our Kids College program. Thanks to the resources allocated out of my office and some extraordinary efforts by Dave Lance and his team, Kids College grew from a little over 100 registrations last summer to over 400 registrations this summer, generated in part due to the excitement around Future Wolves. Will Dave and the team at Corporate and Community Services please stand to be recognized? Now, one of the last images you saw were a lot of volunteers with Future Wolves shirts. And in fact, all of you have Future Wolves shirts now too, so you can be champions and advocates of the Future Wolves program. The Future Wolves program would not have happened without the volunteers who were willing and able to make the experience special for these kids. So if you volunteered or were forced to volunteer for Future Wolves, will you stand to be recognized, please? So about a year ago, maybe about 9 months ago, I gave the cabinet a challenge. We had all just participated as a college in the Marshmallow Challenge. And inspired by that experience, I challenged the cabinet in pairs to come up with their own signature accomplishment. And 2 of them rose to the challenge. Now, when I gave them the challenge, it was some of the eye-rolling and looking at each other in disbelief that I referenced earlier, because the challenge that I gave them fell under the category of kindergarten through 5th graders, ages 5 through 10. They looked at each other, shook their head, and yet here we are 9 months later celebrating an initiative that really was the brainchild of 2 members of the cabinet, operationalized and made happen by Corporate and Community Services and all of the volunteers. 50 students were able to experience what JJC has to offer. And all of that started in the design thinking lab of Christy Mulvey and Escortina Irvin. Will you stand and be recognized? Thanks for your leadership and making Future Wolves a reality. 2 years ago, I stood on this stage and promised all of you, committed, Tiana and I did, to fully funding an endowed scholarship over the next 3 years. Well, funny thing happened. You all joined with me. You believed in the story. You believed in the power of higher education, the generational impact and effects that higher education can provide, struggles and the sacrifices of previous generations to provide our kids with a better life. And I thank you for that. Since you all joined me, the Nemuel Family Endowed Scholarship for first-generation students became fully endowed in just 11 months. Together, we've raised nearly $30,000 a year. From 2 years ago to today, going from $0 to $57,795 is something I'm extremely proud of, and for all of you who've contributed, thank you. On behalf of my parents, my brother, Tiana, and our kids, thank you. This is quite a legacy that I'm very proud of. And of course, as promised, fall 24, we are awarding the very first 2 Nemuel scholars. Let me introduce you to them. Yeah, Selena Garcia is from Bolingbrook. Selena's a child of immigrants who came to the U.S. to provide her and her siblings with a better life. They worked in warehouses their whole lives and struggled and sacrificed so that Selena and her siblings could have a better life. This year, Selena will major in diagnostic medical sonography. How about a hand for Selena Garcia? I'm hoping he had the courage to stick around. I'm not seeing him. Patrick, is Richmond here? All right, okay. It's my honor to introduce you to the second Nemuo scholar. And I want to invite him just to come up. I know he might resist this, but maybe with some encouragement, he'll come up here and just say a few things. Richmond Osei Bonzu is an engineering major at JJC. He works in roads and grounds. You'll see him out and about, partly responsible for the beauty of our campuses. He's an immigrant from West Africa, from Ghana, here living with his uncle, and his parents are back in Ghana. Each Nemuo scholar will receive a scholarship in the amount of $1,000 this year, and it's because of everyone in this room. Richmond, can I, come on. Come on, okay. It's gonna be a long walk. It's gonna be a long walk. I might, yeah, okay, you can run now. Oh man, congratulations. Now this is, Richmond did participate in open gym with the president, but that was not a requirement, just so you know, that was not a requirement. So I'm gonna bring you over here to the mic, just in front of, like 500 of your closest friends. I guess what I'd ask you is, what does JJC mean to you?
Hi, everyone. So my name is Richmond. I'm from Ghana, and I joined JJC Fall last year, and it was actually my first time in the United States, and sometimes people ask me if I miss Africa, and I tell them no, because JJC feels like home. Everybody's supportive, and you can tell people embrace diversity, and I really love it here. So thank you, guys.
Hey, thanks, man. Thanks, man. I'll see you around. Congratulations. Thank you. Roots and Branches, remains a project of great importance to me, and each time I'm in front of you, you've seen progress, artifacts really of the vision that I described when I first started. As I'm out in the community, every week I encounter individuals who point to their time at JJC as critical to their success. Every single week. JJC is a precious resource to the communities we serve. Hundreds of thousands, the 7 counties, 26 high school districts, from Lamont to Peatone, from Coal City all the way up to Newark, and every community in between. JJC is a precious resource. So we've captured yet another alumni, employee, Roots and Branches story, and this one might be familiar to some of you.
Now that I run the planetarium program, I make sure that door is open. I want everyone to experience it. My college journey led me here to JJC, and I've always felt more included at the Joliet Junior College campus than I had ever felt in my entire life. So it really helped me to transition into that level of adulthood, and I've enjoyed every path that JJC has led me down. I was paying myself through college, and that was not easy at a young age. So the affordability helped, and also the freedom to explore my passions. Like, I'm really fortunate that I wouldn't say I was born with natural gifts, but I had a lot of passions between art, science, reading, writing, and JJC gave me the opportunity to pursue each one of those while I found my path. And as soon as I saw this opportunity, I told myself, follow your passions. Like, it was absolutely worth it. So I applied for the position, came in for an interview, and as an educator and a teacher, I knew this job was meant for me and I was meant for this job. I knew what I wanted to teach, what I wanted people to see, and I tried my best to make it entertaining, and it has just improved over the past, year and a half now, I think. We have over 80 different programs, 80 different shows that we offer here in the planetarium, and they're all very different. So there's always something new to see, always something new to learn here at the Trackman Planetarium. But my goal right now, I'm really trying to branch out a bit beyond astronomy. Maybe space isn't everyone's forte, so I want to get as many people, departments, and programs involved at the planetarium as possible. So I've started branching out into meteorology shows. We have some sunset meditation for those that come here for their spiritual experience. I'm getting a new show on dinosaurs that'll be really fun for kids. The JJC Foundation office was offering $50,000 for innovative ideas, and I am chock full of ideas. This planetarium program can take off with the potential of a little bit of funding. It's helping us to get more groups and to reach more people, more college students, the K through 12 community. Also other community organizations are really involved with the local Scouts programs. We've had special needs communities, senior living facilities, local libraries, daycares, you name it. And we're getting them all in to help them gain a greater understanding of the field of science.
Well, so let me prove to you that our students will be prominent people one day. Let me prove it to you. Are you ready? How many of you are alumni of JJC? There we go. There we go. I want to take a moment. I just realized one of our trustees has joined us. Trustee Maureen Broderick, will you stand to be recognized, please? Thank you. Well, now's come the time for the challenge. As we think about where higher education was, and recall back to perhaps the spring semester, as I brought you all back and challenged you to think about what higher education looked like in 1974, 50 years ago. The oil embargo, Ali Foreman, the thriller in Manila, President Nixon's resignation, taking you back to 1974, and comparing what we do now in higher ed to what we did all the way back then. The who's changed. Our students are far more diverse than ever before. The average age is no longer 18, representing the diversity of activities that make us a comprehensive institution. What we do has changed, when we do it, where we do it, how we do it, or why maybe hasn't changed. We are still committed to being an open access institution that takes our students from wherever they start, which sometimes requires some considerable supports, to wherever they want to go. And that is what makes JJC very special, because we do that really well. But 2074 will look very different than 2024, as 2024 looks very different from 1974. Are you with me on that one? Future is going to be very different. And I would argue, I would implore you that JJC has the responsibility, that no other institution, no other community college in the country bears the responsibility we bear. Because we started it all. 10 million students across the country being educated at over 1,000 institutions in communities large and small, all because of us. So who else? Who else is going to stand up, take bold action, make courageous choices to modify the systems, structures, initiatives, experiences that the future will require? That's us. And as you consider that challenge, and all the design thinking that we've engaged in over this last year, those ideas are among you. The projects are among you. The initiatives that are going to create extraordinary things for our students in the future, they're right here in this room. They're not owned by the president. They don't belong to the cabinet. They're not destined to stay at upper leadership levels. Great things happen at all levels of this institution. And so here's my challenge to all of you. What will we look like? Yeah, you're guessing correctly. This is artificial intelligence's version of what JJC will look like in the year 2074. Apparently, there will be a new galaxy in the sky. My kids love this because they detest artificial intelligence. So when they see things preposterous like that, apparently there will be skyscrapers as well. What will the learning spaces, what could the learning spaces of the future look like? Could be smart glass and interactive displays with headsets that allow us to be immersed in another world. Whatever it is. It's probably not going to be that. But it's up to all of you. So here's the challenge. I'm really excited to announce $100,000 design thinking challenge. In this year's budget, passed by the Board of Trustees, we've provided an opportunity for all of you, any employee, to help shape the future systems and structures of higher education. Now, the QR code will take you there, but you don't have to take out your phone right now. We'll send out a follow-up communication. My hope is that 1 year from now, on this stage, we will be celebrating multiple design thinking projects that have had an enormous impact, in addition to 12 by 12 by 12, in addition to Future Wolves. But the projects will belong to you. So there are several parameters. We've got 100,000. Initially, my vision was to support 10 projects of $10,000, but I'm not willing to put a cap on any of the projects. I will tell you that we will not fund one project of $99,999 and a second project of $1. My hope is we'll fund as many projects as we can. So when you click on that link, you'll be taken to an application form that's very brief, but we're not giving you a lot of time because we want to get the ball rolling and we want to get these projects funded as soon as possible. You've got 30 days. So I encourage you to work with those around you, potentially in cross-functional teams with those across the college, to submit applications to be funded by November 1st. So I'm going to say those two dates one more time because we want all of your best and brightest ideas. The form will become available after convocation. The form closes on Monday, September 16th. And the cabinet and the executive leaders will take approximately 6 weeks to evaluate all of those applications. Projects will be funded, will happen this year, and I hope to celebrate the successes of those at Convocation next year. Thanks again to our marketing department for arranging our second annual afternoon of service. For those who have signed up this afternoon, thank you again. I asked the team to just share some pictures from last year. We got some good media coverage as well. That is certainly not why we do it, but I just want to commend everyone who's volunteered. 4 organizations this year. 2 of them, I believe, are the same as last year. First, the National Hookup of Black Women, Will County Habitat for Humanity, Boys and Girls Club of Joliet, and the American Red Cross. And I believe buses leave at 12:30, if I'm not mistaken. I got one final thought before we break for lunch. Kainoa loves tennis and volleyball. And this was at one of his volleyball practices in Frankfurt at an elementary school, not to be disclosed. And so as Kainoa was playing volleyball, went into the next room and I saw this. And I know it's a little tough to see for you all back there, but if you can't make it out, it's a really cool rock climbing wall. And in front of that wall is a barrier, an obstacle. And on that barrier and obstacle, it reads, "No climbing. No climbing, please." The future we create is going to require some courage. It's going to require some bravery. Some of you are probably thinking right now, it's going to require us breaking the rules. That may very well be the case. So I've got 3 words for you to leave you with today. And I'm curious, can any of you guess what those 3 words might be? Cabinet, you're not allowed to guess. As someone looking at this wall, what might those 3 words be? Let them climb, says Sarah. Let them climb. Climb the wall. Oh, I like that, Trustee Ayers. Don't be afraid. Climb the wall. Take bold action. Make bold choices. Climb the wall. Also, don't miss class, I guess would be an important 3 words. We've got a series of activities this week. I want to thank marketing, communications, facilities, media services, all the departments that let us reminisce, to be kids again, the Future Wolves team, and most of all, thank you to all of you for making our students' experience world-class. Have an incredible fall semester. Thank you, everybody.